Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Yes, back at it with another review of a highly allocated release. Old Overholt 10-year rye cask strength. So you're probably wondering, Judge, how are you going to do a review with the bottle being empty? You just had this, right? So kind of think back, which is actually kind of funny. 2 episodes ago, I did an episode about top 5, whiskeys to ask for Christmas or to hunt for and so forth for the holiday season. And this is one of them. As I said in the video, I could not wait for Mrs. Judge. I was extremely excited about this bottle, primarily because I had another version of it. So I had a couple years back in 2020, they released a 11-year-old, I think it was like 93 proof, limited release of Old Overholt, right? Old Overholt. So I had that a couple years ago, and I flat out loved it. So I went out a couple weeks ago, did some hunting, made some connections, grabbed the bottle, and I was like, I have to get this on the channel. Fast forward to today. Where's the whiskey judge? So excited, it literally slipped right out of my hands, and luckily I have it taped over here, but there's a little crack in the back of the bottle. So none of the whiskey came out. But because there's a little crack, I just put a little piece of tape over here in the back, and I had to transfer it to another bottle. So I didn't drink it all. I promise you, I do not have a drinking problem. I just poured it into another empty bottle that I recently finished. So this Old Fitz is technically Old Overholt. All right, so let me go ahead and pour this real quick. It's actually quite funny. Mrs. Judge is like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, babe. I don't know." So, yes, I'm not reviewing Old Fitzgerald. I'm reviewing Old Overholt, aged 10 years, cask strength. All right. So let me move this over. So what do we know about Old Overholt? So, number one, again, this is a very limited, highly allocated release. The base products you'll find on the market, right? You'll find the Old Overholt, the rye whiskey. I think it comes in like an 86 proof. It's like a $20 bottle. You can also find the Old Overholt, the bottled and bond. So, of course, aged 4 years, 100 proof. That's about a $30 bottle. You'll find that both of those, almost at every liquor store, which is cool. I've had both of those before, and they're both really solid, good products, right? Day in, day out. When you think about Old Overholt as a brand, so the company or the brand itself dates back actually to 1810. One of the oldest brands actually across the board in America, back to 1810, out of Pennsylvania, started by Abraham Overholt. Fast forward to today, it's now being distilled, and the brand and everything, the whiskey and so forth, is now being distilled by Jim Beam. So this is a Jim Beam owned brand this day and age. All right. So what do we know about this one? Let me dive into this real quick. Oop, let me move that over. So this one's aged 10 years, comes in at exactly 121 proof. So 121 proof, aged 10 years. MSRP on this one. So this one, the MSRP is about $100, $95, $100, just kind of depending on where you find it. Hopefully, if you find it, you can get it right at MSRP. Again, I was able to make a really good connection with someone, and they were actually able to help me out and get this bottle for me. So very, very thankful for that connection. Let me get into this nose real quick. Oh, man. I will tell you, boy, the judge has been on a rye kick lately, and I mean a rye kick. I've been on a big rye kick. I don't know why, but lately it's just like all the great whiskey that's coming out. For me personally, I find that it happens to be a lot of times, more often than not, rye, which is, I don't know. Like one of my patrons said, "Are you the bourbon judge or the rye judge?" I promise I'm still the bourbon judge. I promise. But I do love a good rye once in a while. All right. So highly allocated, aged 10 years. 121 proof, $100. Oh, look at that color. Just look how dark and deep that looks. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's get into this real quick from a nose standpoint. So from a nose, which I like this a lot, it's definitely a traditional rye. Very peppery, a little minty, but that's offset though by tons of like caramel. You get a lot of caramel, a little bit of honey. Yeah, minty, peppery, sweet. It's a great blend of sweet and peppery. Oh, man. Telling you, a few years ago, when that limited release came out, I think it was back in 2020, right? It was a PA and Ohio release. 93, I think it was like 93 proof, maybe 92.6 proof. I had that. That was age 11 years. That was amazing. I knew when this bottle came out, the next time they had any type of limited release, the judge was going to grab this. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Real quick, 3 quick easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know what are your thoughts if you've tried the Old Overholt Rye, 10-year rye cask strength. Last but not least, please make sure you also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notification each and every time I release new content. Cool? All right. Cheers, everybody. Whew. Wow. That's nice. What I did not get in the nose, but I got it in the palate. There's a lot of, like, which makes sense, Jim Beam, a ton of like peanuts in there in the palate, in the back of the palate. So in the nose, I had caramel. Wow, that's still going, still moving around the end of the palate. That's nice. Wow. Tons of caramel, tons of pepper, a little bit of mint, but at the end of the palate, I had all that in the palate. Plus, I also had some peanuts in there as well. So it's definitely a sweet / peppery type of a rye whiskey. Oh man, let me get a little bit more before I give you the final judgment. Cheers again. Wow. Wow. Whew. That has a very long finish. That's every bit of 121 proof. It sips right at the proof point. Very bold, very vibrant, and very rich. Tons of caramel, tons of peanuts, but tons of mint and a little bit of pepper in there as well. I would say this is flat out an absolute buy. That, my friends, is a grand slam. Absolutely amazing. Worth every dollar. Worth the $100 price point. I would even honestly pay a little bit more, but let's not tell our liquor store friends out there because they'll obviously mark it up. But that bottle is flat out amazing. So I would say it's a must grab. Grab it at MSRP, even a couple dollars over MSRP. And if you can't find it at within the store, at least grab a pour of it, hopefully at a great bourbon bar. Last bit of advice I have: when you're holding your bottle and you're walking in, you're so excited, do me a favor, don't drop it. Don't do like the judge. Hold onto your whiskey so you don't have to pour it into another bottle. All right, my friends, until the next time, peace, cheers, and most important, salute. Take care.